Right now, as sirens wail and missiles light up the night sky across the Middle East, a massive wealth transfer is quietly taking place. If you look closely at the data, you will see a terrifying paradox. 99% of retail investors, the regular people watching the news in a panic, are desperately dumping their risky assets and fleeing into what they believe is the ultimate safe haven, the United States dollar. They are hoarding cash. They are buying gold ETFs on their trading apps. They think they are safe. But the smart money, the billionaires, the sovereign wealth funds, and the central banks of the most powerful nations on Earth, they are doing the exact opposite. They are secretly betting against the very lifeboat you are trying to climb into. How is it mathematically possible that the safest currency in the history of the world is transforming into a lethal liquidity trap? And why is the gold you just bought on your brokerage screen completely worthless if a real global conflict breaks out? Welcome to the ultimate financial illusion. Let us rewind and look at how the game is supposed to be played. On Wall Street, there is an unwritten ironclad rule that has governed the markets for over half a century. When the drums of war start beating, when tanks roll across borders, and when geopolitical tensions spike, you execute the panic playbook. You sell your equities. You sell your emerging market stocks. You sell your high-yield corporate debt. And you funnel every single penny into United States treasuries and the US dollar. For decades, the dollar has been the undisputed king of chaos. It is the global reserve currency, the financial bedrock that everyone runs to when the world feels like it is falling apart. You do not question the king. You just buy the dollar and go to sleep. This supreme dominance was not an accident. It was built on a perfect impenetrable armor known as the petrodollar system and the SWIFT payment network. After the gold standard was abandoned in the 1970s, the United States made a brilliant geopolitical chessboard move. They struck a deal with the major oil-producing nations of the Middle East. The deal was simple. We will provide you with military protection, and in exchange you will only sell your oil in United States dollars. Suddenly, every country on Earth, whether they liked the US or not, needed to hold massive reserves of dollars, just to keep their economies running, just to buy energy to keep their lights on. And to move those dollars around, they used SWIFT, the global financial messaging system heavily influenced by Western powers. This created an illusion of absolute unbreakable safety. Every central bank, every corporation, and every retail investor was brainwashed into believing that holding US dollars was like wearing an indestructible financial Kevlar vest. It was the unsinkable lifeboat. But every perfect system has a fatal loophole born out of hubris and the desire for absolute control. And the architects of the financial system recently pulled a lever that changed the course of economic history forever. They weaponized the currency. Let me explain this like you are 5 years old. Imagine you live in a dangerous, chaotic city. You have worked hard your entire life, and you have accumulated a mountain of gold coins. You want to keep them safe, so you take them to the biggest, strongest, most heavily guarded bank in the center of the city. The bank manager takes your coins, locks them in a massive steel vault, hands you a piece of paper that says he owes you the gold, and gives you a password to access it any time. You feel incredibly secure. You sleep soundly at night knowing your life savings are protected by foot-thick steel walls. But one day you have a disagreement with the bank manager's best friend. It is not even a physical fight, just a political disagreement. The next morning you walk into the bank to withdraw some of your coins to buy food. The bank manager looks at you and says, "I do not like who you are associating with. I have changed the password to your vault. Your gold is still in there, but you can no longer touch it. If you try to complain, I will give your gold to someone else." In that exact chilling moment, you realize the horrifying truth. The safest vault in the city was never a vault to protect you. It was a prison designed to control you. The piece of paper he gave you is worthless if you do not have his permission to use it. Your wealth does not belong to you anymore. It belongs to the person who controls the gates. This is exactly what the United States and its allies did on a macroeconomic scale. When geopolitical conflicts erupted recently in Eastern Europe, the Western financial system did something unprecedented. They froze hundreds of billions of dollars in sovereign reserves belonging to a foreign central bank. They kicked them out of the SWIFT network. They essentially changed the password to the vault. They weaponized the dollar. For the average retail investor watching the news, this sounded like a great tactical victory. But in the quiet wood-paneled boardrooms of central banks across the Middle East, Asia, and the BRICS nations, a cold collective shiver went down their spines. They looked at their own balance sheets, stuffed with trillions of US Treasury bonds and dollar reserves, and they realized they were trapped. They realized that their unsinkable lifeboat was actually owned and operated by someone who could sink them at the push of a button if a political disagreement ever occurred. The illusion of the risk-free asset was shattered overnight. They realized that holding another country's paper currency is not an asset. It is an unsecured liability, dependent entirely on the goodwill of the issuer. And in a world marching toward war, goodwill is the first casualty. The realization hit them like a freight train. Leaders from Beijing to Riyadh looked at the escalating tensions between the United States, Israel, and Iran, and they did the math. If a regional war explodes in the Middle East, the very center of global energy production, the United States could easily use the exact same financial weapon again. If a country decides to support the wrong side of the conflict, their dollar reserves could be instantly evaporated. Their economies could be strangled without a single shot being fired. The Kevlar vest they had been wearing for 50 years was suddenly revealed to be made of paper. The entire foundation of global macroeconomics fractured in an instant. This was no longer just about yield curves or inflation targets. It became a matter of absolute national security and sovereign survival. The rules of the game had fundamentally changed, and 99% of normal investors had absolutely no idea. They were still blindly buying the dollar, stepping right into the crosshairs of the greatest financial trap ever set. Because of this terrifying realization, a silent, monumental shift began. While retail investors were panic buying dollars on their brokerage apps, whenever a headline about Israel and Iran broke, the central banks of the world started doing something unprecedented. They began dumping their US Treasury bonds and aggressively hoarding physical gold. Not paper contracts, not ETFs. Physical, heavy, tangible gold bars stored within their own sovereign borders. Over the last 2 years, central bank gold purchases have shattered every historical record since the Second World War. China, Russia, India, And crucially, the oil-rich nations of the Middle East are draining the Western vaults. They understand that in a fractured world where the reserve currency has been weaponized, the only asset that truly matters is one that has zero counterparty risk. Gold cannot be frozen by a foreign government. It cannot be sanctioned. It cannot be deleted from a database with a few keystrokes. It is the ultimate apex predator of the financial ecosystem. But here is where the devastating trap is set for the average retail investor. You watch the news. You see the escalating conflict between the US, Israel, and Iran, and you decide you need to protect your portfolio. You open your favorite trading app and you buy shares in a gold ETF. Or you trade gold futures. Or you buy digital gold tokens. You look at your screen, see the gold ticker going up, and you breathe a sigh of relief. You think you are protected. You are not. You have just walked blindly into the paper gold trap. What you actually bought is a derivative, a promise, an IOU. The modern financial system has created a massive, towering illusion built on fractional reserve gold. For every single ounce of real, physical gold sitting in a vault in London or New York, there are an estimated 50 to 100 ounces of paper gold being traded electronically. The banks and institutions sell these paper contracts to you, relying on the statistical probability that only a tiny fraction of investors will ever ask for the actual physical delivery of the metal. It is a giant game of musical chairs. And right now, the music is still playing. As long as the system remains calm, your paper gold tracks the price of real gold perfectly. But what happens when the music stops? Imagine the worst-case scenario. The proxy wars in the Middle East boil over into a direct, catastrophic conflict. The Strait of Hormuz is blocked. Global energy supply chains are severed overnight. Inflation spikes to double digits, dwarfing the crisis of the 1970s. Complete panic sets in. Suddenly, institutions and large investors lose absolute faith in the digital financial system and demand physical delivery of their gold contracts. They want the metal in their hands. The exchanges go to the vaults to fulfill these requests and realize the horrifying mathematical impossibility of their situation. There are 100 claims for every 1 bar of gold. The moment a major commodity exchange defaults on physical delivery, the paper gold market will implode. The price of paper gold, the numbers on your trading app could plummet to zero because the counterparty backing those contracts has gone bankrupt. Meanwhile, the price of real, physical gold you can hold in your hand will go strictly no offer. It will detach entirely from the paper price and skyrocket to levels that are currently unimaginable, simply because no one will be willing to sell it for fiat currency at any price. If you are holding an ETF, you do not own gold. You own a completely unsecured liability in a collapsing financial institution. You bought a ticket to a life raft that does not actually exist. Lisparo. We have seen this cycle of blood and money before. If you look back at the 1970s, oil shocks, and the subsequent Middle Eastern conflicts, the macroeconomic playbook is brutally clear. War causes supply shocks. Supply shocks cause crippling stagflation. a deadly combination of stagnating economic growth and skyrocketing inflation. During these periods, holding cash is financial suicide. Your purchasing power is melted away day by day. Governments will print trillions of new dollars to fund the war machine, further diluting the value of the currency you worked so hard to save. The dollar might spike initially in a short-term liquidity panic as institutions scramble to cover debts, but its long-term trajectory in a high inflation, wartime environment is mathematically destined to trend downward in real purchasing power terms. The smart money knows that in a true geopolitical crisis, the battle is not just fought with missiles and drones. It is fought with balance sheets and physical assets. They know that when the fiat system fractures, you do not want to be the one holding the bag of digital promises. You must secure assets that exist entirely outside the banking system. Real estate, productive land, and most importantly, physical precious metals in your own possession. The financial traps are set, and the mainstream media is leading the herd right into them. If you want to survive the coming macroeconomic storm, you have to stop thinking like a retail consumer and start thinking like a central bank. Do not trust the screen. Trust what you can hold. If you want to stay ahead of the smart money, decode the illusions of Wall Street and protect your wealth from the predators of the financial system. Hit that subscribe button. Welcome to Financial Traps, where we expose the game they do not want you to know about. Stay vigilant.